Hello there, Medicine here, and this is another episode of BJD and a cup of tea. Today's BJD and a cup of tea, I'm going to be featuring my little fairy doll, Sprite. She's from Dollzone. Here, let's get you a little close up. So she's from Dollzone, and she's very small. She's tiny, and I believe I bought her as a full set. So she came with this dress, this kind of wig. It's very felt feeling. It's a yarn, yarn wig, and then this little beaded thing that keeps the wig on her head. Otherwise, her wig would be everywhere. That face plant is from the company. She's got a full body blushing. I'll show you her legs. You can see a little bit with her legs here. She's double jointed. Got that little peanut joint there. She's got these really cool leafy wings, which is actually the reason that I got her. And they've got a little extra joint here, which I don't really, I guess it can, I don't know. I mean, they're so heavy, they don't hold. You can't really that one's holding. I don't know. I don't know why it has all that joints. They don't really it's not very mobile. It's not like it's gonna do anything with her wings because they're so big and heavy. The wings are almost as heavy as her. But I really like this detail. Is that showing up there for y'all? There we go. So it's got these really cool vines, leafy vines on the wings. It's just a really good blushing. It looks really cool. She's got a bajillion freckles on her face, which I'm obsessed with. And I love the little makeup styles that they did. So that is my little Sprite. And I'm going to try to set her up here. She cannot stand. I don't think she can stand at all. But so there she is next to me. Hopefully she doesn't fall off of there. Her dress is barely hanging on because it's bigger than her body. The accessories are kind of meh. Honestly, the doll is beautiful. The doll is beautiful. There we go. The wings will help her sit up. There we go. Can y'all see that? So the wings are kind of keeping her. So today I want to share a story about Sprite, my doll. This is a short story I wrote before getting the doll or even seeing this doll. So the doll is not specifically isn't going to match perfectly the description of this story. And just so you know, this is a bit of this is a fantasy story. It's a short story, and it's not dark, but it has darker undertones. So if you're not interested in, slightly darker undertones, I feel like this is a perfect story for spooky season. It's fall. It involves a tree that has falling fairy wings. It's the fairy wing tree. And so falling leaves, maple leaves. That's the exact leaves that inspired this whole story. So this story is actually inspired by walks that I used to take outside when my child was an infant and a toddler, and sort of the magic of nature and the things that we are inspired by through the things we see around us in life. And the, beauty and amazingness of nature. But it's also a bit darker undertones because at the time of my writing this story, which was several years ago, my kid is 10, just to give you an idea. So this was written 8 or 9 years ago. Definitely comes from a darker place in my heart, from a place when I was struggling with some emotional things that I've moved through. But also personally, I like kind of darker stories. When I was younger, I grew up in a very, I wouldn't say troubled childhood. I had a very well-off childhood, but there was definitely some things that were not happy. And I loved stories that had more darker undertones because happily ever after didn't feel realistic to me. So stories that had more, nuanced endings or open endings or even just straight up like Romeo and Juliet. They both die at the end, right? Like, I loved that when I was younger. Not so much now, but so not that that's a spoiler for this story, but that's just to give you an idea of some of the insight into the background when I wrote this story. So I hope you enjoy it. Fairies Always Forget, featuring Sprite. Moonlight streams through tree branches. A light breeze bristles through the leaves, casting drops of water into the air. I duck as one splashes towards me. One hit, and I'll be cast down to the ground. I shudder in fear of what awaits down below. I glance up at the pair of tiny wings fluttering on their stems. They look like shooting seeds, but alive. A labyrinth of green veins pulse magic through them. The same magic courses through me and pulls me against my will. The droplets cast off them like glowing fireflies in the moonlight. My stomach twists as the branch I'm on sways in the breeze. Tonight, the harvest moon is full, and the wings are ripe. Tonight, the fate of the failing is decided. Tonight, I fly or fall. I foolishly thought I could avoid all of this, that I could dig my heels into the soft earth and stay a failing forever. But just as old Robin warned, the magic in the tree calls the magic inside of me. Now here I am, barely hanging on to a swaying branch, the wings of my destiny far beyond my grasp. I want them. I need them. But at the same time, I hate them and myself for this inescapable longing. Other failing are higher. They have a better chance of catching a pair. I've climbed as high as my twiggy arms allow. Another gust rocks the limb and sends large balls of water splashing against the surface. My lashes turn moist from the spray. I'm going to fall! My voice trembles as I clutch onto the branch. Essel's laughter carries on the breeze as her fingers latch onto my wrist. She pulls me up after her. We won't fall, Sprite, she says for the 100th time tonight. We'll fly. I glance up and catch her grin. Her lavender eyes gleam. Her face is covered in freckles. I love staring at the constellations on her skin more than the ones in the night sky. She tugs me after her, steady, and the only constant I know. Tonight will be fairies. Her warmth makes my chest tight. Her confidence radiates against my squirming guilt and fear. I nod, but my eyes drift towards the dark ground and the things lurking in the shadows. My fate is down there, no matter what Essel says. Her fingers loosen from my wrist. Her hand doesn't stray far. It nestles safely in mine. This could be the last time I hold her hand like this. After tonight, we'll be enemies. This moment and all the ones before will be forgotten. Just think of it, Sprite, she says as she gracefully travails across the branch. Her arms are out at her sides as she slides her feet across the bark. One hand leads me forward. I stumble after her, her grip the only thing keeping me from slipping. She already looks like a fairy. We'll fly above the trees, far from the goblins and other creatures that eat us. Her face glows as she stares through the branches at the nearest clump of wings. Wind tousles her floating orange hair. We'll fly with birds. Old Robin would be proud. Her voice trails away with the wind and the rustle of leaves, and her hair dances on the current. She'll fly. I can almost see wings glowing from her back right now. I think of when old Robin died and the goblins ate his remains. We tried to bury him, but a storm came and drove us into hiding. Fairies and goblins warred over his deathbed. Ugly red toadstools stood where he had lain, the remains of killed goblins. Old Robin said witches in the wood call the rings of toadstools fairy rings. They think mushrooms grow from dancing fairy feet, but Essel and I saw it. Fairies killed goblins. Goblins ate fairies. It was a battle. Where the goblins died, ugly mushrooms bloomed, and the fairies danced and played loud music on their victory. Old Robin's body was lost to us. After tonight, we won't even remember old Robin. I stare down at the ground, lizard-like creatures slip in and out of the underbush. Their voices croak like frogs, choking on their own bile. Goblins are waiting. They're ready for the failing who will fall. Not to eat them like usual. Not tonight. Tonight, the magic flowing through us and the tree will be too strong. No, if we fall, it's worse than dying. If we fall, we turn into goblins. Goblins eat fairies. They eat failings, too. If they get the chance. They aren't picky, just hungry. Always hungry. They aren't bright and pretty like the flower-colored fairies. They don't even have words. Failing, like Ethel and me, are smarter. But everything changes when you fall. Old Robin said your heart breaks first, from the disappointment of not catching your wings, and then your bones from the impact. Last to break is your mind. It's worse than dying. It's living as a shadow, a monster. And then one day you sneak into a fairy nest and eat your friends. But you don't know the difference, because your mind and all it held is gone. I'm going to fall. I'm the smallest and weakest of the failing. If it weren't for Ethel looking out for me all this time, I would have fallen and been a goblin food long ago. But Ethel still takes my hand in hers like we're the same, like I have a chance. My foot slips on the wet bark. My ankle twists as I fall to my knees. Ethel pulls me up, but my eyes stay at the shadows twisting far beneath my feet. I don't want to be a goblin, I whimper, my deepest fear unleashed as pain throbs through my ankle. Goblins eat fairies. What if I eat you? You won't, Sprite. How do you know I won't eat you? I glare at her, challenging her words for the first time. Her grip tightens as she leans so our eyes are level. They sparkle with fierce conviction and yellow glow of the moon. You won't be a goblin. I almost believe her. We're gonna catch those wings. She points at a clump of wings fluttering on the next branch over. They're lower than the rest, some of the lowest. If we miss, our chance of finding more as we fall is slim. The rest of the failing are climbing higher to get more chances. Any of them could snatch these from us. We're gonna catch them and we're going to fly, Ethel continues as she rises, pulling me up with her. After tonight, you'll forget all about your fear and worry. You'll forget about being weak. You'll be strong and we'll fly together just like we were born. She turns away and leads us further down the branch, closer to the wings. The branch sways unsteadily, but Ethel is determined. My ankle throbs, a reminder of my weakness, of how words don't matter. After tonight, we'll forget each other because fairies always forget. We were hatched from the same flower, Ethel and I. An orange rose the same color as our hair. Hers flows like waterfalls, while mine twists and knots like brambles. She looks like a flower and smells like nectar. Her laugh tinkles like bells. Her lavender eyes are always dewy with morning light. She's strong and fast, and she carries her weight, plus mine, all of this time. She was born to be a fairy. She'll make it, and one day, long after we've forgotten each other, Goblin me will eat her. I'll swallow up that radiant smile, and then, just before her life disappears, I'll remember who she was. I'll remember what we had, and then I'll die of sorrow. That's my true fear. I'll eat her because I'll forget who she is. Maybe I'll get lucky and she'll kill me before I kill her. Maybe she'll dance on my toadstool all night in victory of my defeat. I hope she does kill me. I hope my toadstool will be the biggest, ugliest ever. The perfect podium for her beautiful legs to dance on. And when the sun lights her hair, she'll dance until all the dew falls away and my toadstool shrivels back to dust. A breeze lifts the branch we're on. The wind pushes against me. Even the elements know I'm supposed to fall. I tighten my hold on Essel as she tightens her hold on mine, and the breeze lifts me. I scrape the barks with my toes, desperate to find purchase, and my heart strums with fear. This is it. I'm going to fall. My eyes tear up from the breeze and the moisture in the air. I blink and see the wings glowing right out of my reach. Moonlight drifts over them. Magic pulses like tiny ants marching through the maze of veins. My heart aches at the sight. I dig my toes deeper and the breeze eases. I stand firm against the branch. Essel squeezes my hand and gives me an approving nod. I turn my back to the fluttering leaves. They shimmer in the glowing moonlight, and they pulse within the time of my own heart. If I just reach out, I could catch a pair. I reach a hand out and take a step forward, and Essel's grip steadies me. Whoa, she mumbles, her warmth at my side. Not yet, Sprite, not yet. I blink away tears. My heart strums stronger, but my head clears. I blink at Essel. Her auburn skin is practically glowing and making mine look dark, muddy, in the shadows. We have to wait until the moon is high and the wings are full, she licks her lips as she says this. I watch as she swallows back her own hunger. She feels it too, this desperation. A soft grunt of an over-eager failing fills my ears. Voices call out across the tree with caution and gasps. I glance up as the silhouette of a leg and arms flail above me. Don't look! Essel wraps her arm over my head and pulls me to her chest. Thump! Don't listen, she commands, pulling me into a tight, protective hug. Her arms muffle the sound of gobbling croaks. They gurgle and guffaw something with a boiling bog. Guffaw, like something with a boiling bog stuck in its throat. I press my hands against Essel's, pushing her skin to plug the horrid sounds. We'll forget him, just like the rest. Essel's voice is muffled by her limbs and the frantic beat of my heart. She's always sure, always confident. She slowly loosens her grip and her voice rings in my ear. Once we're fairies, we'll forget all who fall. I can smell the scent of roses in her skin and feel the warmth of life glowing through her as she smiles at me and her freckles glow. I feel hopeful. We are born of magic, and magic leads us to this tree. We will fly or we will fall, but we will live on. A gust of wind stirs through the branches, and my skin prickles with a rush of magic. I glance towards the wings. They twist and flutter like they're going to take off and fly on their own. My chest burns and my heart salivates for those wings. This is it. Essel grabs my hand and turns towards the wings dangling across from it. We're going to be fairies. My heartbeat drowns out all the other sounds. The wings' veins turn from green to gold and glow like rivers of fire. We wait for the wind to blow strong enough to carry us. If we don't time our leap just right, the wind will rip the wings and us off the tree, scattering both to the ground. This is our only chance to be fairies. This is our only chance to fly. My scalp tightens as the breeze tugs at my matted curls. I glance at Essel one last time. Her grin is wide like a cat. Her beautiful almond-shaped eyes glow with excitement. I take in the constellations of her freckles as her orange hair dances like flickering flames. Ready? Her voice is ripped away by currents of air and her hand tightens in mine. I take a deep breath and nod. Then she nods, and we silently count. 1, 2, 3. Leap! The wind pulls my hair, my skin, my limbs. I try to reach forward to the wings, but the gust is too strong. I flap worse than a baby bird, helpless against the current. My fingers slip from Essel's. I'm flying. I'm falling. I'm weightless. The wind howls like rabid beasts as it tosses me. My eyes water from the force. I blink. Clusters of wings flutter in the fury. They rip from twigs. A few circle around me like vultures. I stretch out to them, my fingers and arms flapping desperately and uncontrolled, but the wings stay out of reach. A pair slaps me in the face, stinging my skin with their scorn. I snatch at any I see, but they're too thin, and the gale is too strong. I'm falling. There aren't enough wings. I'm going to die. No, I'm going to be a goblin. Tears blur my vision. Essel appears before me, her smile wide, her eyes glow with joy. She presses something into my chest. I wrap my arms around it and reach for her. Our fingers latch for a second, and then the wind rips her away. My chest burns from the thing I'm holding. Magic flashes through me like lightning. The wind tears at me. A piercing pain burns my back. My muscles rip as searing heat burrows into my shoulders. The agony will kill me. The pain eases. I open my eyes to find I'm floating. I drift to my left. My heart flutters wildly as a soft thrum of beating wings fills my ears and tousles my hair. Wings! I've got wings! Essel! We're fairies! We did it! I twirl around to see my new wings and my friend, but Essel isn't there. New fairies float all around, cheering, crying, and flying up to join the fairies who drift out of the branches overhead. The fairies sparkle like fireflies, their arms and mouths open in welcome song. Magic glimmers off of me like stardust. It fills my chest with warmth and hope. I look for Essel among those who are flying up, but I don't find her. Croaks and strangled guffaws float up from the dirt below. I turn my eyes down. The ground is splattered with tiny faintling bodies. They look broken and bruised and dead. My heart sputters like flickering flame as I search for Essel among them. I find her, covered in filth and bruises, face down in the dirt. My chest coils like a pill bug. She doesn't move. Her body is stiff and twisted at wrong angles. I hold my breath and hope that she won't move, that she's already dead, and she won't turn. Her arm snaps, and my heart breaks with her sudden, jerky movement. Her arm twists back and then forward, and her body hunches up, tilting in an unnatural arc, before popping into place. She jerks her head, and her hair is matted and knotted with mud. The lovely orange of roses and sunset bleaches away to algae green, and her neck folds into her hunched shoulders. Her auburn skin turns a rotten mushroom gray. The constellation of her freckles bleed together, forming ugly green spots and warty bumps. Scales rise among her broken spine. A lizard-like tail sprouts from her widening hips. She looks up at me, and my heart catches. Tears fall as the agony of her transformation washes over me. I drift towards her, my wings stilling as my heart grows heavy. Lavender eyes stare up at me, but their shape is gone, replaced with round, frog-like orbs. Her mouth splits into a terrifyingly wide grin. A long purple tongue whips out, sampling the air. Her grin broadens, revealing jagged teeth, perfect for ripping through fairy skin. Oh, Essel! Her name slips from my lips and pulls me closer to the ground, closer to the others squirming in the dark. My tears fall and I nervously flutter my new wings, and the motion keeps me from drifting any closer. Her purple tongue laps up the sparkling dust that falls from my floating body, dust conjured from the overflow of magic that leaks out of my pores like sweat. Essel gave me her wings. She sacrificed herself for me. And now I am going to forget her. I drift to the left. Essel croaks up at me, a gurgled, strangled sound that bursts inside my ears and spills more tears. She won't remember me either. She won't remember being a failing, or giving me her most precious gift. She won't know what she did. She'll be nothing more than a creature of shadow and filth, a creature of mischief. Our eyes hold each other in this moment, as the magic rives through us, as it changes us into these new beings, and we both know. She smiles. It's toothy and wrong, but she knows what she did. She smiles. I think she's trying to tell me it will be all right, but it won't. It never will, because she's gone. I stare at Goblin Ethel and already I'm forgetting. The way she looked in the morning with dew glittering in her hair. How she loved nibbling on daisies, or what was it, mums? I can't remember her favorite color. Or what leaves she wrapped herself in at night. I can't remember the sound of her voice, or the song she sang when I was scared. I can't remember. I drift to the left and I shake my head. Why am I staring at the goblins? Why can't I take my eyes away from that purple-eyed one? Why is my face wet and my heart so heavy it pulls me towards the ground? I drift to the left and look at my wings. They're brilliant, crimson like a fiery sunset. Tiny blue veins flow like winding rivers, carrying my blood through the thin membranes. One is shorter than the other, which is why I can't seem to fly straight. One is shorter and my heart is heavy. One is shorter and it was a sacrifice. I should have fallen because I didn't catch these wings. These were a gift. Ethel! What's an Ethel? Is it a flower? A weed? I shake my head. Magic and stardust glimmer through me, making my thoughts foggy. I glance down at the goblins. They slither over each other like a pile of leggy snakes. Desiccated wings rain down around me. Magic fades from the wings, turning them brown and brittle, no different than shooting seeds. The goblins snap their ugly flat mouths at the fallen wings. A purple-dyed one shoots her long tongue, catching a broken wing from the air. The wing sticks from the goblin's toothy grin as it takes several bites and swallows the rest whole. Ugh, my stomach knots and rises bile. I drift away from the grotesque creatures. Though broken wings will be their first taste of fairy for many, but not the last. I drift to the left. The welcome song of fairies overhead reaches my ears. Their call soothes the ache in my chest and summons me upward. I blink one last time at the goblins, at lavender eyes, at a faded memory of constellations across skin instead of sky. I turn towards the fairies and towards my fate. I need to join them. Leaves fall as I fly through the branches towards the glowing welcome of fairies. Small voices sing in a rolling chorus, matching the rhythm of fluttering wings. I soar towards the sound. I can't fly straight. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to remember why. Or I won't. Fairies always forget. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that slightly macabre, slightly fantasy, dark fantasy, perfect for Halloweening, spooky season story. Apologies for anyone for the bad ending. Maybe I'll put some spoilers in the description. But I appreciate you if you listen to the story. Let me know what your thoughts. If you want to hear more of the writings from my dolls, I write lots of little short stories about all of my dolls. Actually, that's kind of why I got them. I'm planning to do a whole series of BJD bedtime stories where I share short stories like this one that are from the actual world of the dolls. This was more specific to Sprite. As soon as I saw this little doll on Dollzone, I knew I wanted her because she matched kind of the description of the fairies in that story. So in that world, toadstools and fairy rings are actually the remnants of fairy clashes with goblins. And because goblins were once the same source as fairies, they come from the same children, their remains and their magic is also in conflict. It's kind of a little bit like a zombie story. I mean, I guess maybe you felt that in the description of the transformation into a goblin. It's very similar to, like, you know, zombies. But instead of zombies, because these are magic creatures, it's the fairies, and they turn into a goblin. I use those terms in the story only because there's some that we are very familiar with in fantasy writing. Fairy, goblin, failing. I hope that was very obvious to you that it was like children. The concept and idea is obviously the maple seeds. The way that they grow on a tree in clumps of 2. They're already like perfectly symmetrical. And the way they look like little wings. And when they fall, they spin as they fall. And that's obviously a lot of people. I'm not the only one who thinks they look like fairy wings, but we always called them fairy wings. Anytime we find them, my kid and I outside, we always called them look, fairy wings, it's fairy wing season. And hey, it's fall, it's fairy wing season, so. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this short story, and look forward to more videos and other stories in the future. Until next time, bye!